Okay guys, so we are in our C9 environment. As you guys can see on the red team, they're totally representing themselves over there. That team spirit though. But yeah, so I'm gonna explain the rules. Well, I mean the rules are pretty simple. They're pretty much trying to accomplish the best design as possible. I'm gonna show you guys the wireframe right now. This is the wireframe. I posted the link in the chat. So they're supposed to create something like along the lines of this. Right? Isn't the music kind of loud? I mean, if it's loud, let me know, guys, and I'll totally lower the volume. There is a regular day and time for these games, so I mean, the schedule is posted below. Actually, it's every Tuesday and Saturday. That's what it is. Okay, so this is the wireframe, guys, that they have to create. I mean, not create, but you know, work towards. Okay, and we're going to be voting based on design, and we're also going to be voting based on how well they follow the wireframe. And then last but not least, JavaScript has complete control. They have complete control over, you know, what kind of animations they decide to use, or, you know, what kind of functions they want to use. So, I mean, we're going to have a whole separate category vote for that. So JavaScript has free reign as to what they want to do here to impress you. Okay guys, so why it is a bit loud. Okay, you got it. I'll turn it down. Okay, cool. So I hope the volume is at a decent volume now, guys. Okay guys, so we're going to start the game here in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. We're starting the game right now. There is a 5-second countdown before the actual game starts. And so that's just, again, that's just to give the players enough time to do what they have to do to respond to the countdown. That's to counteract like the array. We don't have an objective list. I got rid of that. The objective list you saw on the screen there. We don't have an objective list for this. It's a little more, I guess, lenient on this game. We're only going to be voting in 3 different categories. And again, the categories are going to be design. Whoever, you know, designed their wireframes the closest. And then, of course, a whole category dedicated to what the JavaScript guy did, pretty much. It's not going to be worded that way, but I'm just explaining it to you guys. So, yeah, I mean, we got some stuff being developed right here. Both of these guys, I mean, both teams have experienced players, you know, you know. So, I mean, we're going to see a very interesting game here. And Ask Me If I'm a Cactus posted blue and red teams direct links, so if you guys want to, you know, at any given time reload their project, you totally can in your own browser. You know, resize it as much as you want, refresh it as many times as you want. You know, you have that option as well. Also, both teams are in their own TeamSpeak channel, so if you guys want to listen to either blue team and red team and, you know, just kind of hear what they're doing, spectate on how they're coordinating with one another, you totally can. One of my moderators will post the IP for TeamSpeak so that you can connect and, you know, do just that. Okay, guys, so we're like 2 minutes in now, and you know, a lot is getting done. Believe it or not, they're structuring their stuff, they're importing everything. So over here on the blue team, they're just now importing their main.javascript.js, and what that means is, you know, this guy is going to be activated. Okay, so I mean, just basic stuff going on over here. I like how, even though there's not enough content, both CSS and JavaScript still did what they could to prepare for that content. And that's exactly the kind of stuff you want to see on DevWars, because, I mean, if you're on a limited amount of time, especially, I mean, if it's only 60 minutes, you don't have enough time to just be waiting around. You have to do whatever you can to utilize as much time as you possibly can. That's the best way of winning this game. Okay, so we do have some fonts being imported over here on the red team, and that's going to put them at an advantage. They both have resets over here. They both have it. And what that's going to do is that's going to eliminate that margin that you saw in the last game on the blue team. How they never resetted their default CSS that was loaded with the browser. But we're seeing that right away in this game. So red team is already kind of starting on their navigation style over here. So they knew that that was going to be created before it was even created over here on the red team. So I imagine their communication is up to par. I see over here on the blue team, Wolves Please, who's playing CSS, is still kind of waiting on some stuff before he does anything. And that's because the HTML guy is still, importing things. I'm not sure if KRZKZSZ. I mean, that's such a strange name. I'm sure there's a way to say it, but he's playing HTML on the blue team. He probably isn't aware that you can totally copy and paste links, URLs. There are certain things you are allowed to copy and paste, but he's probably just being very careful on not breaking any rules here. So I think the volume is a bit too quiet in this scenario. Let me go ahead and turn it up just ever so slightly. There we go. Okay. Give me a moment, guys. Do the syntax dance. What? Did you create a GIF of me dancing? You guys are retarded. So that's a syntax dance, guys, right there. Okay. So, I mean, we're only 5 minutes in. And, I mean, I can't really say which team is ahead because, I mean, on blue team, obviously their HTML is being developed a lot quicker. Well, I don't know about that because they do have some more tags over here on the red team. And then JavaScript looks pretty balanced. The only thing I see that is significantly different between both teams is that red team is doing a better job keeping up with their CSS. Even though, again, they don't have enough content to work with, they still have a pretty good idea on what they're going to do. I mean, they do have wireframes. So, I mean, they got to use this as their advantage. I mean, they already kind of somewhat have an idea of what's going to happen. So even if they don't know the names of the selectors, they can at least, style them, and then add the selectors later. That is another strategy they can go about doing because they do know what the site's going to look like in a way. But it is up to the CSS guy to kind of visualize how they're going to interpret the wireframe and how they're going to turn it into something because, again, a wireframe is just very vague, I mean, there's so many different ways you can go about using it. It's almost like an instrumental to a song. I know I use a lot of examples with music, but I mean, it's like I'm making so many points here. So it's like a wireframe is like an instrumental, like just a blank song with no lyrics, no vocals added to it. And, every artist will have a different interpretation of that instrumental. So, I mean, you could have one artist make something completely different towards that instrumental as opposed to another artist. And it's the same with wireframes here. So they can make so much out of so little. Okay, so over here on the blue team, it looks like they are going to develop some sort of carousel with a next and previous function. Over here on the red team, we see the same as well. So it looks like both teams are going to go with a carousel for their website. And the more the JavaScript can do, the more things they add, the more points they're going to get, or the more chance they're going to win, obviously. Okay, so on the red team, they are working on this a back class that's inside of this top ID, which let's take a look at the mock-up again. Okay, so I'm imagining their work. What the top div is, it's this up here. This green bar at the very top over here. That's probably what they're specifying there. I do find it interesting, however, on how the navigation is kind of sitting outside of that top ID class. So I do find that a bit interesting. Okay. So, I mean, we're only like 9 minutes in, guys. So, like, well, not even, like 8 minutes and 30 seconds, something like that. So there's still so much to happen here. But we are noticing a lot of things getting done with just 9 minutes. That's insane. So if they're able to accomplish this in 9 minutes, guys. Oh god. They're using the unofficial placeholder, but it looks like it's going to become official today. So that's what they're using as their image for their website, and we're probably going to be seeing that all over their website because the PHP Joe is the one who took that picture. So yeah, I think that's a pretty hilarious picture. Alright guys, so I mean, in the meantime, while we're waiting for some of their website to be developed, you know, let your friends know that we're streaming DevWars right now. If you know any friends who are, you know, web designers or developers, hopefully you have friends. You know, if you don't have friends, hopefully you can make some in here. But yeah. So, anyways, we're just kind of waiting for some stuff to be developed over here. Okay, so we do have this carousel in the HTML already. I don't see that being worked on over here on the red side. So that's pretty unfortunate. It looks to me, but look at the CSS, guys. Look at this. They're utilizing calc, which is a HTML5 function. So that's really cool to see stuff like that on the CSS. We're using position absolute, and these are going to be for the buttons that are going to be on that carousel. So you have that back and forward button. You know, we're positioning this relative, as you guys know or should know. Whenever you're positioning something absolute, the parent container has to be positioned as well. So that's why you see position relative over here. It looks like they're using some interesting units of measurement over here from Epinance, who's handling CSS on the red team. Take a look at that, guys. We see VH, which stands for vertical height. So that'll adjust according to the height of the DOM, which is the window you're viewing in. And then, I mean, we're seeing all kinds of fun stuff. We're seeing percentages being utilized over here. Border radius, that's going to round out the edges of the div. So I really like the way CSS is looking over here for the red team. However, look at the JavaScript that is being done by the PHP Joe. That's what I meant to say. The PHP Joe, we've seen him in the last game develop a local storage, which was just phenomenal. We've never seen anything like it on DevWars before. But look at the kind of work he's doing over here. He has 64 lines of code, and he's just coding away. He's not stopping. He's you know, accelerating, you know, full speed, and he probably has every intention of carrying his team to victory. So. Let's see how Flamarial reacts to this, and this is our first time seeing Flamarial, you know, play the JavaScript role. We normally seen him play as the CSS position, which he always did a fantastic job on CSS, by the way. Okay. Now, over here on the blue team, have they done anything with their CSS? I mean, they do have some more, you know, selectors and stuff declared in here, but look how many properties. I mean, at the most, they have 2 properties for each selector, and that's not really going to do anything. I mean, you only have some padding, so that's just going to add some space over here between the li tags, and you got your clear fix. I mean, there's nothing going on over here in the CSS. Hopefully, Wolves Please, who's handling CSS, you know, starts starts coding more stuff. I mean, it's almost a quarter way in here, and there's so much to be done. You know, look at this. Look at the CSS over here. It's gorgeous. It's looking great. Now let's take a look at the HTML on the blue team. Let's see how they're doing over here. I mean, they have a pretty good structure over here. Everything's indented very nicely, so it looks clean. I don't see anything going on at the moment over here. So let's take a look at this JavaScript. Look at this. He's commenting everything, which is very good, especially when I mean, you should be commenting everything, no matter what language you're coding in, because it boosts your workflow and your efficiency to be commenting everything. You know, that way you could read in plain English. Okay, I know what this does, without having to actually read the code, you know, from top to bottom. So. But over here, it looks like the PHP Joe isn't really using the comments in such a way. He's using the comments more to be hysterical, if anything. So my foot hurts. Ow, that damn table. So you guys can see he's just having fun over here. And that's fine. As long as he can read the code, that's all that really matters. Okay, we do have quite a number of HTML content over here on the red team. Let's go ahead and see what they've done. Okay, so this is what the blue team's website looks like over to the left, and this is the wireframe they're trying to achieve to the right. So you can see that they're not really close, and that's not necessarily anyone's fault, but the CSS guys. So CSS, Wolf's Please, who's playing CSS on the blue team, needs to get on top of it in order to get what they have here looking like what they see to the right, which is the wireframe. Now let's take a look at the red team and see what they have accomplished. Just give it a moment while it loads. Okay, so right off the bat we see a green background. Okay, so I just had to scroll down a little bit. So they have all this verbiage over here that's kind of thrown down here, and so, you know, we can't really see how this is going to work, but obviously what this verbiage is, where this is going to go, is eventually it's going to look like what you see to the left. So wherever you see that purple box, that indicates text. So they're trying to put this text where the purple box is. So they're going to structure it in such a way, but obviously we're only a quarter way in, so I mean, it's really hard to accomplish what you see here so quickly. So hopefully some of you non-developers who are just watching out of pure interest understand why, you know, why developers charge the amount they do. I mean, you guys are seeing what little can be accomplished in 60 minutes. I mean, and look at all this work that's being done to handle such, you know, to handle web design and development in general. So hopefully people who are watching, who are interested in, you know, purchasing websites from developers and stuff, you guys hopefully understand the work that's involved in, you know, web development, and hopefully you appreciate it as well. Okay, so just looking over here to the right, just, you know, right here, you can see in the little live preview box we have that this green box is going to eventually be their carousel, and that's the left and right button you see over there. Okay guys, I'm going to be right back real quick. There's somebody at the door, and maybe you guys might be introduced to her, so be right back. was gonna leave to close the door. I told them I was gonna leave to get, and they're like, "No, we already met your dog." No, but do you want to come say hi? Are you sure? All right. So maybe she'll change her mind later on. Okay. So anyways, let's see what's been accomplished while I was gone. Okay. So let's start by just looking at the live preview. Again, you guys can totally just, look at this for yourself in your own browser, so you don't have to necessarily wait for me to refresh on my own over here. So if one of my moderators or anybody who knows the link can please post in the chat the direct link to this website so that they could have the free will of looking at the website whenever they want. So there we go, one of my moderators right there. Okay, so you do see that placeholder being used on the website. That's funny. Okay, so right when I left the page, we have some interesting backgrounds being loaded. But I don't see it on here. There we go. Okay, so this is probably the image that's going to go inside of the carousel right here. And that's being developed. I mean, both teams have decided that they're going to go with the carousel, but we're only 20 minutes in, so we're not going to see that carousel being fully developed so early on. Okay, now to catch up on what's being worked on over here on the blue team. Could we get more info, Syntag? What do you mean? What kind of info? On her. Okay, so she's my best friend. She's standing right next to me right now, and I want to pull her into the camera view, but I'm not going to do it unless she wants me to. It is Nicole. You must have remembered. I told you that a long time ago. Okay. Tell her the weirdos online say hello to Nicole. Okay. So I did. Okay, so over here, I mean, again, guys, not much going on over here on the blue team as far as CSS goes. So hopefully, okay, so we see him editing something right now. So he's editing width on the anchor tag to be 50%. Interesting. Okay, so we'll see how that plays out. I mean, look at the CSS over here on the red team. Look how beefy it is. Look at all that. It's looking really, really gorgeous over here. Okay, we have KRZKSZ, who's actually playing HTML, who's in the stream right now. What's going on? He's saying hey over here. Hey man, you're not supposed to be watching the stream while you're in the game, so you can go ahead and just pause it. Picture or she does not exist. Yeah, I'm straight up lying to you guys right now. I'm just trying to act like I have friends and stuff like that. So, yeah. Anyways. Wow, look at the work that the PHP Joe is doing over here. 100 lines, 115 lines of code compared to 21 lines of code over here. Can Flamarial keep up? I mean, we've seen in many games where, the JavaScript guy has coded a crap ton of, code, but it didn't work. And so, it doesn't matter at that point. So, as long as Flamarial's JavaScript works, then they're gonna win. Just accidentally turn the webcam towards her. Huh? Somebody took a picture of me, so yeah. So now my whole persona is ruined on the internet forever. Okay, so don't mind me, guys. I'm just talking to my imaginary friend. So at the top, you see they went with the whole fixed navigation up here. Oh, well, actually, you guys can't see that. Yeah, because of the border, the overlay that we have going on, you guys can't actually see their header, unfortunately. But what you guys can do is refresh go to the direct link for yourself, and refresh the browser in full width as many times as you want. Okay, so there's 36 minutes left on the clock. Still a lot to be accomplished. I'm going to show you guys the wireframe they're trying to achieve right now. So you guys can see that this is kind of like their guideline. This is their blueprint. This is what they're working towards now. both teams could have a completely different interpretation of this wireframe, and you know they can, because you guys are going to be voting at the end of this stream or game, I should say, on which team has the best design. And also another category that you guys are going to be voting on is which team, you know, coded their website closest to the wireframe. And then last but not least, you guys are going to be voting on the JavaScript. And again, the PHP Joe is doing a fantastic job. Just, I don't think he's ever stopped coding once over here. If you guys watch my streams, like just my standard web design streams, not DevWars, you guys would know that, you know, I'm not very big on backend stuff. I know JavaScript's not backend, but I'm not very keen on JavaScript either, so I can't interpret this for you guys. But I can scroll through it and appreciate it. So yeah, but we do see some stuff finally being worked on over here on Flamarial. I mean, I could tell you guys right now, I have a general understanding of what's going on over here. So they're saying, so what they're doing over here is they're creating a click function for the back and forward button for the carousel. So that's what's being worked on over here. And I mean, I'm pretty sure we already have that working over here on the blue team, and we can figure that out right now. Hey Syntag, what do you do your wireframes with? We just throw it in the trash after we're done. So, yeah. I mean, honestly, this is the first time we've ever used wireframes in DevWars, so, I mean, we're keeping record of everything. So, eventually, when we get our website up and running, we're going to have an archive where you guys can view all the different games that, you know, that we've played, and you guys can see the websites and, you know, the mock-ups, the objectives that were used, and everything like that. How much time do teams have to talk about what they'll do? They have the whole game, the whole 60 minutes. Now, the reason why we don't give the teams the wireframes or any of the objectives during setup time is so that they don't have additional time to prepare. You know, we want them to kind of come up with things spontaneously. That's the whole fun of it. So finally, on the CSS on the blue team, we see some more stuff going on. I mean, still, you can see over here that they don't have more than... Okay, so this is probably the biggest thing they styled over here was just their UL tag, and all they did was really add a background. They've adjusted the height. You know, not very much over here. Whereas opposed to the red team, look how much properties they're adding per selector, which is going to really help for their design because, as you guys know, CSS is in charge of the overall look and feel of the website, while HTML is in charge of getting the structure of the layout closest to the wireframe. Let's go ahead and refresh and see what we've accomplished on the blue team so far. So we're about halfway in, and this is what they have going on. And they're trying to achieve what's to the right. So obviously, quite a bit of stuff that needs to be done over here. Now let's go ahead and switch on over to the red team and see what they've accomplished. So I've refreshed. It's just going to take a moment. So, okay, this is what they got. So they're definitely a lot closer. All they have to do is give this a specific width. You know, smaller. Probably, I would probably go with like 90% or something like that on this width right here, this white background. That's a div. And then I would probably, you know, position it absolute or, you know, to bring it up higher, or you know, use margin negative top. But I would say maybe using position relative and then use, you know, subtracting from the top would probably be better. So it looks like, I would say, guys, red team is on fire right now, and you guys know what's about to happen. Yeah, it's really hot over here on this side, and wow, I think I need to get up for a moment because my shoulder is really hot. Okay, we're good. Okay, so no, it's not a wireframe software. I mean, well, it is kind of, sort of. We use Illustrator to make those wireframes. So yeah, you totally could have used Illustrator for your wireframes. Okay, so did they do away with those placeholder images? It looks like they did, and they got some funny one, a fun one. Should I test and see if these buttons work? Do I dare try it? Let's try. Okay, wow. Look at that, guys. I mean, it worked. I saw it worked. I hit the next button, and another image came up. There we go. I mean, it's doing something. Let's look over here and see if this does anything. Okay, so we have the previous and next button over here, but obviously nothing happens when you click it. So, still some stuff that needs to be done. If you guys could, head on over to Reddit. We did post a link to the stream over there. If somebody can update me on how many viewers we have currently, that would be awesome. We're trying to get as many new people in here as possible, but I'm guessing Saturday might not even be a good day to stream this. We might have to revert back to Friday. Let us know on our personal subreddit, which is reddit.com/r/DevWars. And just, leave your suggestion as to what you think the schedule of DevWars should be in the future. On that note, I should mention that we are migrating to our own dedicated DevWars channel. So that's twitch.tv/DevWars. 78 viewers. Okay, so obviously we always go over 100 on all our other streams, but it seems as though Saturday might not be the best day to stream DevWars, only because maybe everybody's too occupied doing other things, so we might have to revert back to Friday. Luckily for us, we have not scheduled that far ahead. We only scheduled till the Tuesday, this Tuesday. So I guess that's news for you guys who are watching right now. Anti-Mario, welcome to Syntac. So, yeah, if you guys want to watch the next DevWars stream, it's going to be on Tuesday. Do you want to come say hi now? Just come on in the stream. Malkthos, welcome to Syntac. This is Nicole, guys. She doesn't really know what to do because she's not really into this whole web design stuff, but she's just being supportive right now. She's just wanting to see, what's popping over here and stuff. I can see you looking at me. Okay, but anyways, yeah, so that's Nicole. She said hi. Okay, we have some inappropriate music right now. I'm just trying to skip every time I notice the music like that. Because I selected a random playlist, and, I don't know what's in there. Be afraid. You just got shunked to 86 weirdos. Worst decision of your life. I know, she didn't really have a choice. I just kind of pulled her in. Wow, look at all this JavaScript, guys. Almost 200 lines of code. This could be a record set on DevWars right here, as opposed to 38 lines of code right here. You guys are funny, aren't you? Look over here. We have some funny comments over here on the blue team. I mean, but still, not enough code over here. So that's pretty sad. But look at this. Red team CSS, they're just... This is weird. They have a body class. That's kind of strange. But yeah, they're styling a bunch of stuff over here. Let's see where his selector is currently. I don't see what he's working on at this very moment. I'm pretty sure he's going to need quotation marks around this URL in order for that to work. But yeah, so that's just something I caught while scrolling through it. Don't change the topic. I like how you guys are quiet until I bring Nicole into the picture. What is this? Nice. Quotes not required in CSS. Okay, that's awkward. That is pretty awkward. Well, at least during my own workflow, I've never seen URLs working without quotation marks, so that's weird. Okay, let's go ahead and see what they've accomplished so far. Why not? So let's refresh. Okay, I did notice some sort of animation that loaded. Like, the image is loaded with some sort of fade, if you guys saw that. So that was handled by JavaScript because, as you guys know, well, if you read the rules, you will know that CSS is not allowed to do animation. So let's refresh the red team. Okay, so they have a lot styled down here. I mean, up here it doesn't look like very much, but if you scroll down, they're working very hard on this. And they're trying to achieve this. So, I mean, they're already halfway there. All they have to do from here, it looks like, is pretty much center this white background, this white div over here, this white container that these boxes are in, so that, you know, it's centered up with the web page. And then what I would probably do is give it a width of 90%, because it looks roughly like the mock-up is 90% width from the edge of the screen. That or 80. I can't really tell, but it's one of those. I think one of those would be good enough. And then of course use position relative, and then use the top property to bring this container up a little higher to sit over this image carousel. You know what I just realized is that both teams had to come up with the carousel because that's what the mock-up implies. So it's not that they chose to do so. But look at this. What is he working on right now, the PHP Joe? He should rename himself to the JavaScript Joe, because he's really good at this. Okay, so the PHP Joe who's handling JavaScript, the one I'm just kind of circling my mouse over right now, he did start his own stream where he's, you know, teaching, where his goal is to teach you guys how to do back-end language. And that's something that I can't personally teach you guys because I'm more of a front-end developer. So if you guys are interested in learning back-end, I would recommend this guy. I mean, you could already see this guy knows his stuff. So I'm sure when he starts streaming, you guys can learn a lot from him. Okay, but not very much over here going on in the red team. They do have a number of items, a very specific number of items they're adding here as a variable, and they have a little comment over here that implies that they could change in the future. Okay, let's refresh now and see if the blue team has, you know, come anywhere. Okay, so yes, they do have a fixed nav bar now, and it looks like these buttons are working. Wow. So that's their carousel. All they have to do is, you know, style it, and as we saw on the blue team, they're not doing very much styling. So I wonder what kind of communication is going on right now on the blue team. Are they not trying to address this issue at all? Yeah, okay, Non-Chewy posted the correct link. Yeah, it's simply twitch.tv and his username you see above on the navigation bar. I mean, on the top of the overlay. Okay, so there's 23 minutes left on the clock. I would say red team's, you know, the closest to the wireframe at this point in time, but you never know. I think it's strictly because of the CSS guy on the blue team that the reason why it doesn't look very much like the mock or wireframe per se. What is being used to display all editors? Yeah, Cloud9. And we're eventually going to have a potential sponsorship with those guys, so we're just doing all we can to, you know, prepare and refine DevWars, as well as in the back end. There's stuff that's being ran in the back end as I speak right now that's actually operating this game. So once we get everything refined and everything, we're gonna contact them, and we should see, you know, a huge influx of people. And the reason why we're not contacting them right away is because we're just simply not ready for that kind of audience. But yeah, so we're almost at 200 lines of code over here on the blue team. That's a lot. I like the variety inside of red team. They're utilizing a whole bunch of CSS properties like border radius. They're using units that aren't commonly used, like VH, which stands for vertical height. Yeah, they're just using a whole bunch of different things, and that's cool. This guy definitely knows his stuff. But as far as blue team goes, their team's really gonna take the hit on their style or design because of the little work that's being done on blue team. But yeah, they have a fully functional carousel, but it's not full width yet, and that's so easy to do in CSS. Like, I mean, just with 100% alone, we'll make this stretch to the, left and right of the page. I like this cute little arrow they added. Still not a working carousel over here, so I mean, we do see advantages and disadvantages from both teams. So obviously the strength of blue team is their JavaScript, while the strength of red team is their design, because I mean, wow, this looks pretty scary, to be honest with you. Looking at this code, that makes me feel really weird. If he understands all that, that's pretty cool, but I just like the way everything's kind of it looks easier to read over here. So, I mean, that's the cool thing about web development, is there's so many different ways. Well, I mean, it's cool sometimes, but there's so many different ways to accomplish one thing. So, it just depends on how you think, really, that determines on how you arrive at accomplishing a certain task. But you could tell this guy over here has been doing it for years. Look at this. Yeah. So again, still nothing exciting going on over here in the CSS for the blue team. Not very much content either on the HTML, but they maybe finish. I mean, with the wireframe we are given, there's not really too much, to do after you set up the layout. So believe it or not, HTML is finished on the blue team. Now the reason why there isn't very much being done, well, there isn't very much to see here, is strictly because of CSS. Like, yeah, they're gonna have to step it up. Okay, here we go. So I do see the buttons all the way to the left and right. So let's see what they did to do that. Let's find their buttons. So they're using, let's see, let's try to read this. Okay, so carousel navigation. Where'd it go? Okay, that's the class. Is it in here? I don't see that in here, but I do see the previous and next class. So he's making them both position absolute, which is gonna break them free from the flow of the page, and then he's just using left and right to position them to the right and left of the page. And let's see, let's refresh this. Okay, so we're not seeing them to the left and right of the page, and that's probably because he made the container position relative now. Let's just verify that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see that here. Okay, so let's, somebody wants me to... So red team's copyright is not updated. Where's our copyright down here? I'm not really sure what you're saying over here. Oh, okay, down here. Oh, 2014. Yeah, they're living in the past over here. Okay. Okay, let's just refresh over here, see what's going on. Okay, so I do see him styling the previous and next button. We're about 3/4 of the way into the game now, so not too much time to accomplish very much. I mean, they haven't even done anything with this whole bottom portion, as you see on the red team. The red team has got a lot done with this. I mean, again, it's really easy to take what they've done here and just make it look like this, what you see on the wireframe. So let's go back over to the code. Okay, so a lot of stuff over here on the red team, so too much stuff to go into. Actually, let's find out what container they're using right now for that. So let me skip the song. Okay. All right, so they're putting everything inside of this model class, and that's what this white container is, I'm sure. So let's go in here and find out where that model class is. Let's see what kind of styles they're adding to it. Have they even targeted it yet? That's probably why. They haven't even gone around to doing it yet, so we don't see that model class being targeted or selected in here. Why is the content on the top of the carousel on the wireframe? Well, let's see. Well, the green bar, if that's what you're referring to, yeah, it's supposed to float over, like Derek said. Derek's the one who designed this wireframe for this game, so he's getting around to answering that for you. And so that's probably why we're seeing a fixed navigation bar. Obviously, you guys aren't seeing it from the preview over here because of the overlay. It's just covering it up. But if you guys click this link, I'm going to throw it in the chat. If you click that, you know, you'll see it in your own browser, and you can scroll down and see that the navigation bar is fixed. You know, it's kind of, you know, no matter where you scroll, it's always at the top of the page. Let's see about blue team. Let's see if they've styled anything while we're busy with the red team there. No, well, actually, let's see. It's loading. Well, now nothing's loading on their page, so they got to get their stuff together. There's 15 minutes left on the clock. So far, it's looking like an easy win for red, but again, anything can happen. There's still 15 minutes, and a lot can be accomplished in 15 minutes. Okay, so it looks like their stuff is loading back, so let's refresh. There we go. Okay, hold on. I accidentally refreshed it again. It's taking a while for their stuff to... Yeah, okay. So this isn't working the way it was. I'm sure they're making some adjustments as we speak. Okay, Steven, can I go ahead and show them that code? Yeah, you certainly can. Okay. Let's find out if they finally targeted that model class yet. No, they haven't got around to doing it yet. What are they working on right now? I don't see a selector anywhere. Well, I think I did. Well, he's probably moving it around everywhere. There we go. So he's working on this item class in the content, inside of the content class. So let's find that out right there. Okay, so I'm not really sure where that is in the HTML. Oh, here it is. Okay. So he's working on this bit right here. And I believe this is for the carousel. Yeah. Okay. And he's adding transition too, so that's going to create some beautiful effects with this carousel. So pretty much what he was styling there was this image right here that you see. And he's going to make it so when you click these buttons, when JavaScript finally gets around to making it work, when you click these buttons, in theory, it's supposed to create a, you know, like some sort of effect, like a fade effect. Okay, so, okay, I'm not going to read what Derek wrote, but he's pretty much explaining how they're going to accomplish getting this to work, just like in the wireframe. Yeah, and that could totally be accomplished by position relative, so you're not breaking free from the flow of the page, but that does, whenever you use position, any sort of position property, it enables you to use, you know, the top, left, right, and bottom property, so that's probably the best way to do it. The other way to do it is using margin top and then using negative units, so like, for instance, like negative, you know, 100, 200 pixels or whatever, that'll bring this up here. I can actually do that inline. Let's try it just to demonstrate. So by me doing inline styling, I'm not really, you know, destroying anything here. So let's go ahead and like give this a width of, let's say, 90%. Okay, and then let's give this margin 0 auto to center it. Right? Okay, so now that that's centered, what we were saying was we would make this position relative, and then you would add the top property, and then you would do negative units from here, so like, you know, 50 pixels or something. and then it's going under because we have to set the z index now. So z index, and we'll just set that to like 999 to bring it up. And then they don't have any colors set on here, so let's do background, white. There we go. So something like that. That's probably what they're going to have to end up doing. I mean, there's some other additional styles that they need to work out over here. As you guys can see, there's some margin being added over here, and that's probably because they just did margin right on everything. And another way of solving that is to, use the nth child pseudo class, not pseudo class, but the pseudo property, adding the nth child. So it'd probably be like nth child colon. Well, no, parenthesis 2n, and that's going to say every second, remove margin right, and that way you don't have margin right being applied here because there is more content to the right of this. But yeah, so that's probably what they're going to have to end up doing. Let's refresh the page and see what they got going on now. So, I mean, still, they haven't worked on anything over here. What about the blue team? Did they fix their carousel? I know they were working on it when we last looked at it. For some reason, it's taking forever to load their website. Like, look how long it's taking to load. Okay, there we go. I wonder why it's taking so long to load. It's probably something with the JavaScript. Amazing Ashton, welcome to DevWars. Okay, so they have a beautiful carousel, guys, but obviously they need to sort this issue out. Guys, 10 minutes left on the clock. Can my moderators please inform both teams that we are at 10 minutes, and that, I always tell you guys that they should be mindful of the clock during this time, because anything that they don't finish before the clock, runs out, then they're going to just have to take the hit on it. So if they, during this time, they should be making sure everything works, and they should be making sure that all their tags are closed and, stuff like that. So that's what they should be doing, because otherwise, if they're too focused on working on new ideas and trying to get some new things in, then the possibility of breaking code is just increased by a lot. So you don't want to be that guy to destroy the website that your team has been working on for a whole hour, because once the clock hits 0, it's over. Like, we can't make any adjustments to the HTML or anything like that. Yeah, so red team's looking really clean though. Do their buttons work yet? No, their buttons don't work yet. Oh, I lied. Hold on. Okay, it's a bit... It's not the most functional piece of work here, but it does something. So it's good to know that they're working on something. And then over here, I wonder when they're going to get around to doing this, because it's really simple. I mean, you guys seen me do it in like 5 seconds. It didn't really take very long. And then let's refresh blue team. Still, I mean, their stuff is loading so slowly. Well, there we go. And it loaded a bit quicker there. Okay, so they're still sorting stuff out over here. I mean, their stuff works better over here. I think this is a CSS issue. I think this is an issue with their with what Wolves Please is doing or not doing, because I think the PHP Joe is doing a fantastic job of making that work perfectly fine. We do have some very nice transitions over here on the header, so when you hover over this, it just looks beautiful. Okay, guys, 7 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. What can these teams accomplish? Who do you guys think is going to win? I mean, we're not doing an actual official vote, but I'm just kind of curious to know what you guys think. So let us know in the chat, just based on what you see here, who's going to win. We did see them working on this stuff earlier, but I mean, you could compare the work that's done between blue team and red team just on this portion of the website alone. You can see that red team has done way more work than them. But I mean, I would say the carousel is about the highlight of blue team's website for now. But I would say, and then for red team, I would say this is their best. Well, and their footer and their header, actually. So, I mean, overall, design-wise, red team is killing it. But as you guys know, it's not all about design. Because if we made it all about design, then we might as well get rid of JavaScript. It's about functionality as well. Okay. So I'm kind of curious to see what blue team is working on the CSS right now. I don't see anything going on. Okay, so Derek's giving us input. He likes red's nav because it's see-through, but blue has a better slider. Red team has better styling on their main content, but blue team loads in the content as you scroll. Yeah, both teams have their disadvantages and their advantages. So you guys are going to be the judges on who wins for what category. So let's refresh blue team, and let's see if they finally fixed the issues they were having on their carousel. No, it's still not really working all too well. Okay, this is working a bit better than it was on the red team. Okay, I'm going to click it once right now. I clicked it. Nothing's happening. There might be a delay or something on it. Or that, or I have to double click it. So I'm double clicking it. Actually, I'm clicking it a whole bunch of times right now. Nothing's happening. Let's click this previous button once. Nothing happened. Okay. Clicking it a whole bunch of time makes it work. Whereas opposed to the blue team, just clicking it once will shuffle through it. But of course, they don't want it to look. They don't want it to jump around like the way it is right now. Is it working now? Okay. Well, now it's not. Okay, but it's still broken. We'll just go back to the code. Blue team accepted on the blue team. Let's see if this is true. Let's confirm this. Yup, Bitcoin is accepted on the blue team. So blue team might win now because of it. We'll have to see. You guys are the judges. Yeah, so it looks like, wow, right when I left, they did something with it. No, I don't, never mind. I'm imagining things. Well, no, yeah, they're working on stuff over here. So, guys, they have 4 minutes and 25 seconds. Are they going to be able to accomplish what you see over here? It looks like they are trying to right now. It looks like they're trying to create this, but as you guys know, red team is already on it. They've already done that like 10 hours ago. But let's see if blue team can squeeze this in with the time that they have. So can my moderators please inform both teams that we are at 4 minutes, just so they are updated with the time at all times. Nicole is slowly moving more and more into the frame, into the camera. It's quite hilarious. I think she's uncomfortable. I think that's what it is. What's the Bitcoin accepted? It's pretty much a free pass to winning in this game. Is what it is. Yeah, all the best sites except Bitcoin. Right. Okay, so I hope there's no inline styling going on over here. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, so let's find out what exactly they're doing to style this. So they have all of this textual content on the blue team inside of a section tag called content container, and let's see what he's doing to style this over here. So content container with 50% margin 0 auto, so perfect. So I wouldn't have gone with 50%, but at least they're doing something there. Let's see what else. Okay, they have they're using UL tags, which is kind of interesting for this case. Actually, no, they're not. They're not using that. They're using content block fade. Okay, let's find that selector in here. I don't see that in here. So the Wolves Please playing CSS probably doesn't know what he's talking about there. And so it's kind of, since this is a team-oriented game, you would have to kind of understand the way your teammates are thinking, and part of the way of going about doing that is communication. It's as simple as that. You simply okay, so KRZ is playing HTML. All you have to do is say, hey, Wolves Please, who's playing CSS on the blue team, I have this div class named content _ block fade. This is what I was planning on using for it, but I'm not sure if they. Okay, well actually, we do see a fade class over here. And at this point, guys, I'm not going to be refreshing the website, so I'm going to kind of leave it for the end here, so that way it's a surprise. because it's always a surprise to see what the teams can accomplish in the amount of time they have. So, wow, look at all the CSS. So 223 lines of CSS. And we do have some pseudo selectors in here. So we have the first child, and we're just saying that we're going to add a border none to that. We have the hover selector being used, the calc property, we have background images, we have different units, we have transitions. What about the blue team? Man, I'm not seeing all too much. Nothing really. I mean, yeah, not very much. 50 seconds left on the clock. So hopefully they close all their tags. You know, they're not working on anything new, or because if they are working on something new right now, especially right now, it's a very risky move to pull, and you could potentially just destroy the entire website if you're not careful. Wow, we're at 174 lines of code in the JavaScript as opposed to 58 on red team. Is red team going to be able to fix their carousel before the time runs out? Also, blue team, the only problem with their carousel, as far as I can tell, was the image, you know, kind of jumping after every frame is switched over. But just judging off of this live preview, it looks like they might be okay. So, guys, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The game is over. So moderators, please shut down the documents to prevent any editing from here on out. And so congratulations, both teams. They're probably going to be returning to the stream right now. So congratulate them on doing a fantastic job coding for 60 minutes for you guys. Happy New Year. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, too. So, okay, so this is what the site looks like. This is the final site. I'm going to link you guys to the direct. I'm going to give you guys the direct link so you guys, you know, can see it for yourselves on your own browser. Okay. So let's start with the blue team. Okay. Let's just go over. I'm going to have the wireframe up over here to the right. So we're just looking at the blue team here. So right now, what we're looking at is how close did they get their website to the wireframe. Okay? So obviously, this is kind of skipping and stuff, but we're not really looking at that. So we do have the header, and it's really hard to tell that it's there because of the overlay. But we do have that header right there, just like in the picture, just like in the wireframe, and then we do have this giant, you know, image for the carousel. And we have the buttons there and everything, and then we have the content just like in the wireframe. I mean, it doesn't look exact. I don't think any teams have brought this container, you know, up or refresh blue, I guess. I mean, it's refresh. You guys probably were working in a full screen width, so maybe that's why it looked the way it did. Okay, so that's pretty much blue team, guys. Now let's take a look at red team. We're just looking at how close they, you know, got the wireframe down. So they have the navigation bar at the top like they're supposed to. They have their image carousel, and then, you know, of course, their buttons, just like in the wireframe. Whoops. Okay, and then scroll down over here. They do have a very close representation of the way this content was supposed to be displayed on the wireframe. But, I mean, they have this arrow here, so I'm assuming they just didn't know how to bring this div up, which is, yeah, I find that actually hard to believe with the amount of CSS that was being coded by Epinance. You could tell that he knew what he was doing with CSS, so I absolutely find it hard to believe that he didn't know how to do this, but I don't know. Because you guys saw me code this out in like 3 seconds. You guys can easily bring this up here, just like in the wireframe. But that's what they did. And then down here, they have a really nice looking footer. Both teams accept Bitcoin. I should mention that. Both teams do accept Bitcoin. Okay, so we're going to be throwing up a poll right now. And we're just going to be voting on, you know, which team is closest to the wireframe. So in order to vote, all you have to do is type blue or red in the chat, and that's gonna count. Your vote's gonna be accounted for. So as soon as I see the first vote on the screen, we're gonna start the timer, and you guys are gonna be voting for 2 minutes. Okay, the timer is set. So from 2 minutes from now, we're gonna stop the timer, and whatever team it is wins. Just for this category. We do have other categories as well. Wait, if they both accept Bitcoin, how do I choose the winner? Yeah, I mean, it is a tough one. It is tough. That's for sure. So which team is closest to the wireframe? I will post the wireframe in the chat in case you guys want to see that for yourself as well. So we're just waiting for... I see my dad has voted for red, so that's funny. That's cool that he's still watching. My sister voted for red. Okay. Okay, so we have a lot of votes coming in. What do you think? I'll make your vote too. Red team or blue team? Which one? Well, yeah, which team do you think got closest to this? Blue team or red team? Guys, this is a real grill. It's not a boy. It's a real grill. You can see she's real. I'm holding her right now. She's not a hologram or anything like that. But anyways, so which team? Blue? Okay, she voted for blue, and she's gonna just casually step away. So I voted for blue for her. Okay, and okay, it looks like the time is up, guys, but so congratulations, red team, for winning, you know, for getting the closest to the wireframes. But guys, the game is not over yet. It's not over. We still have some other things to vote on. Okay, so now we're going to be voting on design. It's not necessarily who got closest to the wireframe. It's whoever has the best design. And let's create that poll right now. And while you guys are voting for this, we're going to be well, what I'm going to be doing is just kind of scrolling through here to showcase, you know, the different stuff in the website. So, you know, as you can see, hovering over this, cool little hover effects. No hover effects here, nothing going on over here on the blue team as far as effects. But on the red team, when you hover over these things, you know, there's like red colors and stuff. And with the cool animation, transition per se, that's what I meant. And then you have your transparent header. You have down here, when you hover over this counts as design. You guys see they have like a cool little zoom effect. And then down here at the bottom, you guys could kind of compare their footers with each other. So which team has the best design? I'm just going to kind of scroll up and down here. Yeah, just up and down. You guys can open this up in your own browser as well. It's a tie. I mean, it's so far it's a tie. Let's give it another minute here. Somebody's voting for yellow. Huh? What's up? No, it's not compared. It's just the design, just how it looks. So guys, we're just voting on how it looks. Don't even worry about the wireframe at this point. It's just however it looks. Which team looks better? Are you guys purposely trying to make it a tie so we could go on with the next? Okay, we're just gonna give it. We're gonna give it 10 more seconds here. So I'm waiting for the second hand to reach over here, and then I'm just gonna stop it at whatever the votes are. And it looks like red team is gonna take the win. Sorry, I can't tie it, guys. It is what it is. It looks like you guys are trying very hard to tie it. but unfortunately you failed. So if you guys would have tied it, we would have went on to our next voting category, which would have been functionality in JavaScript. But yeah, so it is Red does win this one. So congratulations, Red team. You are the victors of this DevWars game. Congratulations for playing. I'm going to close the poll. Okay, guys, stay tuned.